So I just want to start by saying thank you again for taking the time out to sit down and chat with me. Those who are subscribers of our channel will have recognized your face from How to Live a Jellicle Life. Since our first interview together, you took that to the Fringe. How was that? How was the feedback of your show from the Fringe?
Well, thank you very much, Rhys, for having me back. So good to see you again. And it was great. I've done the Fringe a few times, but I think this is by far my favorite time. The reactions to the show were very positive. We were very lucky. We got great reviews, great audiences, and people were just really positive about it. And it felt very nice and special because I did create the show with the intention of bringing it to the Fringe in 2020. It was programmed for 2020, but obviously that Fringe
Yes,
never
yeah.
happened. So it sort of felt nice to, after having done the show quite a lot and toured it quite a lot, to sort of like bring it to where it was intended to
Hmm.
be, and get to go to the Fringe finally.
And what is amazing is actually I got the chance to watch the show online. And obviously, my review is still available. So if people want to scroll down and click, they can read all about it. But sort of the long and short of it is, I thought it was brilliant, and I really enjoyed the show. So congrats for taking the show to where you wanted it to. Its sort of destination, I suppose. Um,
Yeah, thank you, and yeah, I mean, do check out the review. It's a wonderful review.
thank you very much. So, as that show has come to an end, you have now moved on to a really interesting show about Diana. So, first question is why Diana? As a proud Welshman, and her being the Princess of Wales, it's a very controversial choice. But why Diana?
Yeah, it's a sensitive topic. It's it's funny. I'd sort of last year my partner's mother, she turned 60, and she's a big Diana fan.
Mhm.
And for sort of years we've had this almost like a joke thing that whenever it's her birthday, whenever there's a special occasion, or even if there's not a special occasion, actually, we've sent her random Diana merch that we've been able to find. So quite weird Diana stuff you can buy online. Um, which has been really funny, like a Diana bust or Diana wristwatch or anything, something like that. So when she turned 60, I had this idea that I was going to write a Diana script for her that we would all perform together. Um, and I did. It was just like I gave everyone parts. It was this little family thing, and it was great fun. And then I didn't really think much of it. And then I was finishing my tour of Jellicle at the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
and I was sort of looking at what to do next, what other projects I could start working on. Um, and I had the project I've been working, but nothing, it didn't quite feel right. I couldn't quite get it off the
Mhm.
ground, and I was struggling in the writing process. And I was looking back at what other kind of ideas or scripts ideas I had on my laptop, and I looked back at the Diana script, and I just thought this might be something. And I started looking at it and thinking if I could rework it into being a solo show,
Mhm.
and all the ideas sort of started coming to me. It felt really fun, and I felt like, yeah, like I had a fire in me again, and I had a passion for it. And I'm like, this is a really fun story and fun way of telling the story, I thought. So yeah, that's sort of how it came to be. And now it seems like it's a very interesting time to do it. Obviously, soon after the Queen passing, but also with the new season of The Crown
Yes.
opening or being released in November when my show opens as well, which seems like a very fortunate timing.
So obviously, the last Jellicle was sort of your, I suppose, interpretation or retelling of Cats, and this story is sort of your reinterpretation, retelling of Diana's story. You've become sort of like a pop culture interpreter, if you will. Um, how obviously the tagline is untold and untrue. So can you tease any twists that you put in, any ideas that you've reworked for the story?
Yeah, I think the key word is untrue.
Okay.
Like, I'm not claiming for this to be any sort of like um, actual version of events that happened, but
Hmm.
it's sort of, I guess, the version of the story as we would have liked it to play out. Like, Diana was in many ways an amazing, iconic woman,
Mhm.
and obviously she had a very tough life and a very tragic end. And this is sort of an alternative version. If it didn't have to be that way, what could have been instead? What we would have liked it to be. So it's done with a lot of love, and it's a celebration of her and her life,
Hmm.
where we highlight what could have been and sort of take, yeah, let the big events we all know play out in a way they didn't, in a way that we probably wish they did.
Hmm. There's obviously been a lot of sort of Diana. There was the movie that was fairly poorly received. There was a musical recording that was produced, and now you've got sort of your version of the story. So what is I suppose different between your adaptation to the ones that we've seen before?
Um, I would like to think that my version has none of the pretentiousness
Okay.
in it. I mean, I've enjoyed many of the different Diana
Yeah.
versions that's been out there, but I think like I'm not trying to tell the story as it happened. So
Okay.
it's going to be like different and self-aware, and also I think very much a live spectacle in that like the audience really plays a key part of the show. And they will be very heavily involved in the show and the events.
Hmm.
Um, that it will be very much a live feeling to it. Um, and it's very, very stupid and silly.
That seems.
And combining many different art forms, because obviously there'll be, it is a play, but it's
Hmm.
also like a lot of audience interaction. There is a drag element of it. Obviously, there's a lot of comedy, there's music,
Hmm.
there's puppetry. So it's sort of like combining loads of different art forms into
Hmm.
one chaotic creation, which I'm really excited about. It
Yeah.
feels like it feels like an ambitious and scary and daunting undertaking, but I feel like it can be, if I manage to pull it off, it can be pretty special.
Hmm. In our last interview, we talked about sort of the importance of the funness of it. We had just come out of lockdown, and getting people back into theatres to have fun together was obviously something that you felt very important. That was very important to a show. By the sounds of it, this is sort of a very similar idea of it's a fun, good time to be had, getting people together, type of show again.
Absolutely, yeah. I think lockdown really changed me
Mm,
as a theatre maker in that. I mean, I've always enjoyed comedy, but I feel like it just showed me even more the importance of comedy and the
mm,
importance of like I want to create shows that have that live element to it when the audience are not just an audience, but they are actually part of the show
mm,
as well. And I think Diana is really like stepping that up a few steps compared to Jellicle.
mm.
Um, yeah, I'm really excited.
And as you've kind of already touched on, it's not the true story. It's not an historical account, and it is your elements are to have fun, to have a good time, and it's not you're not teaching, you're not lecturing, you're creating an experience, which people obviously will have. Well, you hope they'll have a great time coming and attending. Um,
Yeah,
you touched,
exactly.
you touched on a little while ago about these sort of queer elements, the drag side of it, and that sort of element. Obviously, Diana has become somewhat of a queer icon. Well, was a queer icon. Why did you feel? Why did you feel those elements need to be included when retelling her story?
I mean, she played such a big difference
Mhm.
to, I mean, obviously many different communities, but the queer community definitely being one. Obviously, she had her famous friendships with people like Elton John, Freddie Mercury, Versace, and so on. But in particular, she really helped change public opinion with the entire AIDS and HIV
Yes.
discussion
Mhm.
because she shook hands with AIDS patients before anyone else did that. And obviously, as she was the most famous woman
Mhm.
alive at the time, doing things like that, that really changed the course. So, like, she really, by those actions, she really helped make so many queer lives so much
Mhm.
better and so much more accepted. And she really brought that into the spotlight, which is such an amazing thing. Um, and and especially throughout the creation of this, you look at like queer issues that sort of have occurred since and other queer things. And it would have been so interesting to her to see what her
Mhm.
stances on various things and how she would have fought because she did so much and she
Mhm.
seemed to have been so genuine in her charity work and how she raised various issues. And it would have been so amazing to have got to see what she would actually have been able to do if she had got to live a
Mhm.
full life rather than having cut this short. But as a queer person, I think it's really nice to honor someone. I feel like we often it's so easy to label people as gay icons or queer icons,
Yeah.
but they won't necessarily have done that much. But she actually really did the
Yeah.
work, so to speak. Like she really did change so many queer lives for the better. So she really should have that
Yeah.
that crown.
but yeah, as you said, the sort of label of being a queer icon is thrown around for artists, musicians, which yes, their contribution to society has been valuable, but arguably none more than Diana and her raising awareness of key issues. So obviously, celebrating her through an art form that she almost championed is obviously really important, and sort of I want to express my thanks for you to being able to include that within your retelling. Um, so, could we talk about costumes for a minute? Because during Jellicle, one of the key things everyone was talking about was that cat's outfit. Going into this, there are many reference points of Diana's life. Um, will we be seeing some of the outfits, costumes that we've known from Diana to be making an appearance?
I feel like we have to. I feel like it wouldn't be right to do this show if we didn't. So I'm very excited. Like I'm working. What is amazing about this project compared to my previous projects? Like I have a team. We've both done a crowdfunding, so we've raised quite a bit of money through people generously donating, which has been amazing. And we've also got Arts Council funding, and that just means that we have a bit more of a budget this time. So I've been able to work with other collaborators. I've got an amazing designer on board, for example, who's been working on the costumes, and it's so fun to sort of see. I give her like a basic idea or sort of like a few things written down on a paper, and then she's got an amazing mind. Obviously, like she just spins that on. So we'll have our versions on some of the Diana, like the iconic Diana looks. There will be multiple costume changes. So I'm really excited to see like how the wedding look or the revenge dress actually will turn out. But it's amazing to have a team of people who are all doing so well because like with the design, the same with like with music or with puppetry, I have this like idea, but I have just a few words on a paper really, and then them using their sort of expertise and creativity within that area just elevates it so much. So it's so nice to combine so many elements from so many experts really.
As you talk about your team, obviously last time you were the creator and star of Jellicle. You are also the creator and star of this show, and now you have a team. What have you found the show building process? How has it been different this time than for your previous project?
Yeah, it's I guess the size of actually having a team doing things like being able to incorporate so many different elements, like Jellicle, for example, is quite a simple show because it's basically just me and a PowerPoint. Whereas this time we have choreography, so I'm working with a great choreographer. I mean, I did a bit with that Jellicle as well, but then I have a puppeteer, and we're going to have some. I mean, puppets is a generous word, but some objects, I guess, that will be the other different characters and how they'll be operated. I've got, as I said, like a designer who'll be making the costumes and some of the props and stuff. I've got Danny, who's a great video editor and creator, so he's going to be editing some digital content and virtual content for it. And I've got a cast, which is super exciting. So even though it is a solo show, I do think it's the least solo show you'll actually see because it has multiple characters and multiple people who will be appearing on screen and as voiceovers. And it's really exciting because they're all people who I think are amazing, and it's so nice to get to have them part of the show. And yeah, it's so nice to be able to do all these things that I can't do myself, and also have sort of my initial idea just elevated and improved and developed by all these great people.
It's great to have seen your show from Jellicle, which in its own right was a fantastic show, and now the promises of all these other elements. It's almost like your next sort of evolution, if you will, in your theatre making journey. It's heightened. Everything seems bigger and more of a spectacle, which is fantastic.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, it really feels like a different level up. It's nice because I wanted to really challenge myself, and I feel like I have. Like it is a very ambitious project for like it's a small scale project, but like with very big ambitions. It's definitely a level up, and I just feel like I'm learning so much as a theatre maker as well by just working with all these. I mean, I'm not a dancer or a singer or a musician or a puppeteer or anything like that, but just getting the knowledge from the people who actually know what they're doing. And I feel like that informs my theatre practice as well, which is just so much fun.
So we've talked about the sort of the creation of the show. Now moving on to, well, a couple of months in the future, where can people get their tickets and how can they find out more about Diana?
Oh yes, very good question, Rhys. So if we open in London at the Pleasance for a 2-week run before we head on a national tour.
Mhm.
So if you head to the Pleasance website, obviously you can find tickets to the London run there. If you want to find the full list and all the venues and more information, the best thing is to head to our social media. So it's at Awkward Prods on Twitter or Instagram. If you check us out there, there'll be a link in the bio which will take you directly to our link tree where you can see all the dates, all the venues, more info. Same with, well, you can head to my socials as well, which is just Linus Karp, my name, all one word. And there will also have links to all the shows and all the details and things we're doing.
Yeah, I'll put the links to social media in the description so people can scroll down and click away. I've got my ticket for the 3rd of December in Bristol, so I'm very excited to see the show live. Obviously, last time I was unable to do so, but this time I'm going to be there in the audience. So I'm very excited for that. You touched on your crowdfunder earlier. Obviously, I just want to say congratulations for meeting your goal on crowdfunder, which is amazing. And I heard you were giving away very unique incentives for those who donated.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we just today actually reached our goal, which is amazing, and I'm so grateful to everyone who's donated, obviously. And I just, when doing a crowdfunder, I just try and find, because obviously people are donating, which is really nice, but you do want to make sure they get something fun in return. So I've been doing things like videos as Diana. I was drawing people into Diana, like doodles, poems, Diana-based poems. Excuse me. So just really trying to find something that hopefully will give people a smile or a laugh. So in return for their contributions. But yeah, I'm so thrilled that we managed to reach our goal, which really means that we are able to do the show the way we wanted to. And I'm so excited that you're actually coming to the show in Bristol as well. It's such a nice venue there, Anna. We've taken shows there 3 times before, and we always have such a great time. Bristol is a great city, so I'm really excited to take the show there.
That's amazing. Also, you talked about social media, and can I just say, you are killing the social media game, especially on Instagram. Your posts of going to Diana's home, the wedding dresses, the trailer have been brilliant, and they have honestly not only got me excited for the show, but have kept me entertained. You know, I just gotta say, you're killing it.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear, because I do keep quite active on, but it's really how I find my audience, because I've never had a budget or anything like that. So it's just been like, I feel like most of my audience have come through Instagram and Twitter, which is great. And I do find it quite fun as well. And I really have to thank Linda again, my partner's mum, who is the Diana fan. It's her wedding dress that she wanted me to wear, and it was her who took me to all throughout the house where Diana grew up. So like, yeah, I really should thank her for a lot of that content as well.
And also, you've created almost a title for those who are, well, maybe it's a title I've not seen popularized before, but Diehards.
Yeah,
is fantastic. Again, I think that's a brilliant sort of collective.
Yeah, it was me and my partner Joe, who also works on the show. We was talking about what we could call, because with Jellicle it was so easy, because we just used the word Jellicle all the time. I was like, we need like some Diana phrases. What can we use? And we came up with Die Hard. It just felt really fun.
And my final question for the interview is, how would you describe this show in 3 words?
So I would probably say queer, stupid, and fun. Yeah, fun. Yeah. I hope it's fun more than anything.
Yeah, and like, I know we talked about it last time, but just getting people out to have a good time and to leave feeling happier than when they walked in is obviously really important.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we need it. I mean, we always need that, but like especially, especially, I mean, things have felt pretty bleak for quite some time. And when we finally came out of COVID, we now have the cost of living crisis and
Yes.
the mess in our government, etc.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to just forget about problems for an hour and just laugh.
Yeah. So that's all the questions I have. So I just want to end by saying, sort of thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with me. As I said, I will be attending the show, so I really look forward to seeing the sort of entertaining chaos that will happen.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rhys. It's always so nice to see you and chat to you, and I can't wait to actually see you in Bristol.
Well, thank you very much, and I shall speak to you soon.